our today's topic is Route 53. So what is Route 53? Do anyone of you know what is Route 53? DNS. Okay. Okay. So basically, Route 53 works as a DNS in AWS, right? Like we okay. So what does DNS do? Okay. Before moving on further, let me ask you, what does DNS do? What is the main task of DNS? Okay, I think you don't know what does DNS do. Please check it. No, Lokendra, DNS, like this is one of the tasks that DNS do, but DNS, just a minute, did I write something? Domain controller. Yeah, health check of registered IP is the one of the tasks of DNS. Like the main task or the main purpose of DNS is resolving IP addresses to the domain name, right? Like how you guys can understand this IP is associated with this domain name, like how you guys will like whenever you search for any website, so you don't write the IP address, like whenever you search for Google, so you don't write the IP address of Google or DNS of Google. What do? You directly write www.google.com. So how the website, like how the browser or how the application will know like www.google.com means what, right? So DNS helps them to understand that www.google.com means this DNS, or sorry, this domain name, this web address or this URL is associated with this IP. So whenever you type www.google.com, what they do, they'll resolve your IP address. Who will resolve? DNS will resolve. So DNS will resolve your IP address and then send your request to the google.com. Okay, so well, the main task of DNS is to resolve the IP address. Okay, now DNS is something related to the servers and all, like Microsoft servers and all, multiple servers we have, like Microsoft server, Linux server, and like everywhere DNS is used everywhere. So the service which AWS provides us to perform the task of DNS is Route 53. So we use Route 53 as a DNS. Basically, route means the path or the way, and 53 is the port number of DNS. Okay, so that's why DNS is termed as Route 53 in AWS. Okay, now we have got. Acha, before moving on further, there is a now you guys should raise a question that what is the difference between DNS and route tables that we have created? Because we are saying here that DNS resolve the IP address. That means whenever we are requesting to any of the website, so DNS will resolve the IP address. And what we write the IP address in route table also. So how this is different? Uh, okay, so let me ask you guys first, then I'll tell you why it is different. Okay, okay. Let me first read it, Lokendra. No, it's not like we cannot say that this is correct, but I'll tell you why. Because this question should, like, you guys should raise this question. I'll tell you why. Why not why? Like, what is the difference between DNS and route table? Like, what is the difference between working of that? So basically, Like I have told you that DNS, what does DNS do? DNS resolve the IP address. That means DNS has the what we can say. Okay, not DNS. Let me give you the understanding of route table first. So what we do in route table, when we create route table, when we configure the route table, we give the IP address of the destination or the source. Okay, so basically route table, what does route table do? Route table just gives or direct the way, like how you guys can approach to the destination or how you guys can approach back to the source. So this is the working of Route 53, to give the path or to give the way. But DNS will tell you what is the meaning of that IP address. Okay, so Route 53, Route table gives you the path of the source IP and the destination IP, and DNS will give you the understanding or meaning of that IP. Like the IP is associated with which domain name, or what how this IP is behaving, and also that part is done by Route 53 or DNS. Got it? Okay. I'll show you with the diagram. Just a minute. I'll show you with the diagram. This is for, let's say this table is, I have made this table for route tables. Sorry, this. And this table is for Route 53. Okay, just a minute. Manoj said something. Okay. Yeah, definitely, Manoj. That's what I just said. That route tables just give you the way or the path of the source IP and the destination IP, and DNS resolve the IP address. That means DNS will tell you IP address is associated with which domain name, and with how. Matlab, that means if you search the domain name, so how you'll understand which IP is associated with this domain name, and also DNS do that. Okay. Guys, Lokendra, if you want, you can read the comment or the chat that Manoj has written. So you'll understand what is the meaning of DNA. Till then, I'll also show it to you. Okay. Okay. So Lokendra, if you want, you can see here. I am explaining you again. So this is the route table. This is source, and this is destination. So what the route table do? We send the request to the to this, like we have sent the request for the destination. So route table will just give the path or the way. Like route table will tell you how you guys can reach the destination. It will route you. But in the case of Route 53, this is your source, this is your destination, and this is your DNS. Okay, let me first write it. Source, DNS, and so in the case of DNS, what you'll do, you'll send the request. Now, how you'll send the request? You'll send the request with the domain name. So the domain name will get changed into IP address here, right? Uh, like you have a search for google.com. So it here at this stage, google.com will get converted into the IP address with which it is associated, and then they'll send you your request with the to the destination. So DNS will resolve your IP into the registered domain with which it is associated, and route table gives you the path or the way. Okay, got it? Mm, okay, got it, Loginder? Route 53 and DNS are same. DSN, not DSN, DNS. The Route 53 and DNS are same. You can read it here. Okay. So you can see Amazon Route 53 is highly available and scalable cloud domain name system. So basically, the cloud or the AWS domain name system, the service which AWS provides us in the form of DNS is known as Route 53. Route 53 and DNS are same, designed to give developers an extremely reliable and cost-effective way to route end user to internet applications by translating domain name into the numeric IP address. So definitely, you cannot remember the multiple IP address. Like there are various number of there are multiple IP addresses are there in the world. So you cannot remember each and every IP address. So for that we have got the DNS. DNS will resolve your IP address into the domain name or domain name into the IP address. Okay. Route 53 is fully compliant with IPv6 as well. Yeah, so definitely you can also perform, you can also create Route 53 for IPv6, IP version 6. Okay. So what is the main functioning of Route 53? You can register the domain, like if you don't have the domain name, so you can register also. You can do the health check of the resource, like if you have created the Route 53 from your source and destination. So like what are the resources that you have associated with Route 53? You can do the health check of that resource also. Route internet traffic to the resource from your domain, definitely. So like we have seen the dynamic web hosting. So at that time I have created the Route 53, but you guys don't know what is Route 53, so that's why I didn't explain you much. But what we have done, we have route the internet traffic of our resource for our domain name. So we have done that. Now how Route 53 works? So basically this is the working of Route 53. What you search for or whatever you like whenever you whenever you search anything, so you directly enter the domain name www.abc.com. Then that domain name is okay. Just a minute. Looking at something. Look at it. It is not DSN. It is DNS. 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 You can see it. Okay. Okay. Let me read. Yeah, it is due to the port 53. Okay. So I was saying that whenever we search for anything or whenever we type anything in the any of the browsers, so we do not type or we do not search with the IP address, right? What we do, what we search, we directly search for the domain name, right? Like if I am searching for the Google, so I'll write www.google.com. So whatever you want to search, so you search for www.abc.com. So what happens after that? Your domain name gets to the DNS resolver. So what is DNS resolver? Whenever you create the DNS, we'll see what is DNS resolver in AWS Route 53. So we create record set for that. So that is DNS resolver. Okay. Then there, what happens? Your DNS, sorry, your domain name gets converted into the IP address. Like DNS resolver tells your destination that this domain name is associated with this IP address. So this way your DNS work or Route 53 works. Okay. Now, so what are the benefits of the Route 53? Definitely, it is highly available and reliable. It is flexible, simple, fast, designed for use with other AWS services. Definitely, we use Route 53. Like yesterday, I think you were not there looking there, right? And Tango was also not there. So yesterday we have seen we have used Route 53 with the ELB, Elastic Load Balancer. Like yesterday, I was showing the practical of ELB, so that's why I have used the Route 53 for the domain name and all, like mapping domain name with IP address and all. So I'll show it to you guys again after understanding Route 53 and all. So designed for use with other web services and all. So these are some of the benefits of Route 53. Okay, now we have got multiple record sets of Route 53. So we have got a name record set, a like this is for IPv4 and this is for IPv6. Okay, like whenever we want to map our domain name with the IPv4, so we use this a name record set. Whenever we want to map our IPv6 with the domain name, so we use this record set. Then we have got MX mail exchange, NS name server, PTR pointer records, SOA, and SRV, CNAME. We have got three more. So we'll see in the Route 53 when we create Route 53. So we have got this record set in the Route 53, like whatever or what kind of work you want, or what kind of configuration that you want to do on Route 53. Like you want to create Route 53 for IPv6, like mapping with IPv6. You want to create Route 53 for mapping with IPv4. So, like if you know all of these records, so you can create, like creating these records are very easy. I'll show it to you how you can how you can create it, uh, and like you have to use the record set as per your requirement. Like if you want to map IPv4, so you'll use a name record. So you have to know it as per your requirement. Okay, Manoj? Okay. Now we have got now these are the sum of record sets. So we have got routing policies as well. Like we have got this much routing policy. Like we have got simple routing policy. So simple routing policy will resolve your IP address with the DNS domain name, which we like map. Uh, so simple routing we can configure simple. So by default, whenever we configure the record set or whenever we create the domain name, Route 53, the default routing policy is simple. Okay, their simple routing policy is default one. Then we have got failover. So what does failover mean? So failover means failover. We use failover in case of disaster management and disaster recovery, right? Like you create failovers in the case. Let's say I have created my Route 53, or let's say I have created some web server. Okay, in Mumbai region. So like in some cases, if in some cases flood comes, flood arrives, so my data center is gone. So in that case, my primary location is down, like in the case of disaster and all. So in that case, we use failover. So what failover do? Whenever our primary location, primary destination is down, like during the health checks and all, so the route will be directed to the secondary destination. Like in that case, I can select my secondary destination. Let's say I have one data center or let's say I have one web server in Mumbai and one in Pune. So then in that case, like if some disaster happens in Mumbai, so in that case, Route 53 will map or will direct all my routes to the secondary destination, that is Pune. So we can use failover in that case. Okay, Manoj said something. Like for what, Manoj, for what kind of characteristics you want? Two or more, like record set or routing policy. Like you can use only one routing policy at a time. Like if you are creating a record set, so you can only, like if you have created record set of a name, so you can only use one routing policy at a time. But you can use like different routing policies with the different record sets. Okay, like there is no restriction for that. But if you are using the routing policy with record set, so for that you have to create two record sets for the two routing policies. I'll show you that. I'll show you that. Let us move on to the practical session. Let me first explain you all the policies. Then after that, we are moving on to the practical sessions only. Okay. So I'll explain you guys each and everything. Okay. So we have got failover. Now we have got geolocation. So like if you want to like if you have created your web servers in multiple geolocations, like geolocations mean one in Mumbai region, one in Africa region, one in America region. So in that case, you can use geolocation. So like uses geolocation, that is like uses geolocation in to route you to the closest. Basically, like you have web server created in Mumbai, Africa, so not Africa, Europe and America. So if you are near to Mumbai, so you'll get the website of Mumbai. Like if you are near to Mumbai, so you'll get the website, or your route will be directed to the Mumbai region. If you are near to the Europe, so your route will be directed to the Europe region. Like your route will be directed to the closest region. Okay, so in that case, you can create geolocation. Okay, now we have got proximity. So this is also same as geolocation, like route you to the closest region with the geographical areas. So same as geolocations, like there is not much difference between geolocation and geo proximity. Then we have got latency. So latency means directive based on the lowest latency route to the resources. Definitely, like whatever the lowest latency uh, or if you have requested for something, so in the case of latency they'll direct you to the resources of the lowest latencies. Okay, then we have got multi-valued answers. So in the multi-valued answers, like return several IP addresses and function as basic load balancer. So whenever you have like multiple IP addresses, in such case, in the cases of load balancers and all, so we can use multi-valued answer in that case. Then we have got weighted routing policy. What if weighted routing policy uses the relative weight assigned to the resources to determine which to route? So basically, we can use weighted routing policy as like we can assign, or what we can do is we can what we can do, say is like we can assign the weights to our resources. Like if I want my request to go to that resource only, so I can create weighted routing policy for that resource. So like in any of the cases, my request will go on to that resource only. So we can create weighted also. So these are some of the routing policies. Got it? Got it, guys? Okay. So these are some of the diagrams of routing policy. Like we have got simple routing policy. So this is the simple routing policy. Now we have got like the image screenshot. So I'll not show you the screenshots. We'll do the practical instead of like having a look on the screenshot. We'll do the practical. Now I've got the diagrams of each and every scenario. So like if possible, so I'll share the slides with you guys. This slide, raw 53 slide with you guys. So you guys will also be able to access the slides and all. Okay. Like I've got the diagram of each and everything. Like I've told you the geolocation routing. I am in Asia, so my uh, my route will be directed to the Asia only. If I am in Europe, so my route will be directed to the Europe only. So this way we can configure multiple things. Okay, and let me delete it. I'll show you guys from the beginning. Okay. So let us move on to the dashboard. Okay. So now we are on the dashboard. Like we have got, okay, just a minute, guys. Okay, yeah. So we have got four things or four services in the Route 53. Okay. So what does these four services do? So we'll see this DNS management at the last, because this is the main thing that we use in Route 53. So this is the biggest one. So we'll see this thing in the last. Before that, we'll see these all these three, because these are the shorter services. Okay, and this is basically what we configure, and these are the basically monitoring and management services, all these three. So we'll see this first. Okay, so we have got this traffic management. Okay, so what is traffic management? Like, uh, uh, okay, I'll show it to you. So, just a minute. So, like if you are, just a minute, guys, let me drink some water. Then we'll continue. Just a minute. Okay, yeah. So we were on to the traffic management policies. Okay. So what is traffic management? Basically, whenever you are creating any DNS, okay, or any Route 53, so that means you are sending your request from source to destination. So for that you have to follow some traffic, or you have to follow some like path. So traffic management basically with the help of traffic management you can draw the policies like with the visual editors. You can draw the policies, you can create the policies with the visual editors. Okay, so like you guys can see here, they have shown us the example of the diagram. Like they have one DNS request start point, so this is type A. Then they have created failover scaling policy, so they have created the diagram of that. Then after that they have this, so we can create that. So I'll show it to you. Okay, so now as soon as we click on create, so they ask us to give the policy name. So I'll give cloud seva, and they'll ask us for the version description. If you want, like version description is optional. So if you want, you can give it, but if you don't want, you cannot. You're not. If you don't want, you can directly go on to the next section. So like this was the thing that you guys just need to do. Like now after that, you have to use this visual editor to create your traffic policy. Like they have given me the starting point, so I have to select like which type of DNS I am using: A type, 4A type, CNAME, MX, PTR, SPF, SRV, PXT. So these are some of the record set that we have seen in the PDF also. Okay, so you can select any of these. So according to your requirement. So I'm using A type. So what they are saying, like connect to, like now, if I've created the record set of A type, so I have to select the routing policy with routing policy I'm using. So let's say I'm using the geo location rule. Okay, so now they'll ask me for the primary location. The upper location is the primary location. Okay, so you can select. So let me select Asia. So my primary location is Asia. You can also configure health check from here, like evaluate target health. So you can do that. Now this is our secondary location. So let me select Africa for the secondary location. You can also add another geolocation. Like if you want multiple geolocations, like I want one more for Europe, so you can also add it. Now they'll ask you if your primary region is up. So where you want your route, or when where you want your DNS to go. So we have to again select new policy. Like if you want to directly send your request from the geolocation routing policy to the end to any of the endpoint, so you can create new endpoint. Now what is endpoint? Endpoint is the resource or your destination. So you have to select the type. Let's say I have to send my request to ELB, Elastic Load Balancer. So I have to select the application ELB. Now because I don't have any ELB right now, so that's why they are not showing me any value here. But if you have one of any of the ELB, so they'll show you the value here. Okay. So this way. Now if you want to add some routing policies in the middle, So like if you want to add one more routing policy after geolocation. So Manoj, you are asking me, like if we can do two or more routing policies. So this way you can do. Okay. So you can directly click on plus sign and then you can select. So let me select. I have selected weighted. So then I have to select. I have selected weighted. So I have to give the weights. So these are some like this way you can select. Okay. So this way you can create routing policies. Or if you want, you can also import the traffic policy, like with the JSON code. If you have the JSON code, so you can create the traffic policies as well. Sorry, import the traffic policy as well. Now, let me select. Okay, the endpoint. So you guys can see we have got multiple endpoints. Like if you want to enter any value, let's say if you want to send or if you want to direct your request to any of the IP address directly, so you can select the value and give the IP address here. Or in case like if you want to send your request to CloudFront, so you can select the CloudFront. If you want to send your request to classic load balancer, network load balancer, or if you want to send your request to the static S3 website, S3 website endpoint, like we have seen the static hosting with S3, right? So you can select S3 also from here. So you can see like you've got multiple values. Let me select value and I'll write like not this. So, like I have taken this value as random. So I can give the value. And after that, what you guys have to do, just a minute. Choose. After that, you guys can see here at the bottom, like you can also minimize it and uh, have a look on your policies. Then after that, when as soon as your policy, like you have uh, created everything on the visual editor, what you can do, you can simply click on create traffic policy. So because I have not like I have not selected connect to here and here, so that's why they are not allowing me to save the policy. So like I have to select the endpoints also. So that's why they are not allowing me to create the policy. So this way you can create the policy. Okay. So have you guys understood how you guys can create the traffic policy? Okay. Manoj said something. Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely it is like not designing routing policy. Like yeah, some sort of you can say this some sort of designing the routing policy. It does implement the design. Yeah, definitely. Like if you are creating the traffic rule, so they will definitely implement your design into the configuration. Like if this will not get implemented into the configuration, so why AWS will give us this option? Yeah, this will get implemented. So you can create traffic rules. Understood? Okay, look, Kendra said something. Just a minute. Like you can okay, just have a look. So you can see, look in this. Here we can only select only one record set. Okay. So either you can select A type, C name type. So you can only select one record set. Okay. Any other doubts in the traffic policy?